Okay, so let's keep backtesting. We're gonna finish the month of January 2026 as our hindsight backtesting. Because what I do remember what happened pretty. Not all the days. At this beginning of the month, I didn't remember as much, but I go back and I try and reason with myself which trades would have been the best, which trade would have been the best to take, or there might be even multiple today. So we're gonna start with Monday 26th. We have no news. This week we have FOMC pretty much. Okay. So let's go to next day open. And this is gonna be a new weekly candle. Alright, so this week closes. Actually it's a C2, bearish C2 on RTY. Okay. But these two assets, NQES, it does close bullish. Yeah. So there's PSP here with my M. Perhaps they can catch up to to this high, right? Where's this high? This high right here. Which would be, not catch up actually. So the fact that they traded already above this high, right? So this one. Why am I already above that? They got this low. I don't like this framework, I'll be completely honest, right? Because like there's no SMT here. Ideally, you always get SMT. But we're just gonna look at the close of the daily candle. Yeah, okay, so we're expanding. So this could be internal towards external, right? This daily gap is very obvious. So we can just expect previous days high. I don't necessarily want to see these. It's a pretty large wick. So we're just gonna go for the low anchor fruit. Even this daily swing point here as well. Previous days high. Alright, this is where this is a pretty close proximity. And yet this, look at this close on this asset. That's leaving more for this reason. I don't want to trade higher. It just doesn't make sense that we leave these and then expand towards this. Well, again, I also don't want to short because this range would be too large. So wherever this is technically the weaker asset, you can see like this is a very deep retracement towards this low, whereas these two are more spaced out. So ideally we trade NQES towards this high. Very simple. Look at the 4-hour price action. They gaps down, takes this relevant swing. It is inside a very small fair value gap, inside a daily, so that's honestly fine. And then we expand away. Okay. So not the cleanest framework, right? In terms of like the low of the day. Here we're gonna have to require some sort of like hourly. I'm gonna look at the hourly. I'm gonna have to look at the hourly. Okay. Alright, so what I'm noticing is this is expanding very cleanly, right? So we don't have this yet. Okay, so we have it on YM as well, by the way. But it is lower to range. Ideally here to trade ES. Yeah, so we left these. Ideally trade ES, right? This is a stronger asset. And you can see here from the low of the day. Oh, these are not really opposing candles, I guess, but here this plays away from this. There's not a lot of gaps on the hourly. We'll see about the 30-minute. And it looks like there is also SMT here. With YM as well, but again, YM is very low into the range, and looking at RTY is not gonna hit this high, right? Not even previous days high. It's probably like even if we hit this high right here, it's not gonna be able to expand towards this low. It just doesn't make any sense. We could probably expect YM to hit this, but I don't even know for this. I think that's a little bit too much for today as well. Right? We're just gonna trade these two, which are closer to this high. Very simple. So this is a faded swing. I'm not already know. Right, this is this high. So and here just faded swing, right? The same thing here where I'm I guess thought I'd break even, but yeah. Oops. Alright, so let me move this. Let's go look at the 30-minute. So there is a gap. So this is also a gap fill. This is looking very good. So there's no gap here. There is a gap here. So it's this low, so there's also a sympathy fill here. Where again, I wouldn't really want to trade these. Hopefully we can get a trade idea on a trade entry on NQES. Ooh, what a close. Okay, well, we can take this position, bro. I think there is to war with this side. I can see the lower time frame if I can use the bodies here. Probably will be fine if I use the bodies. I don't want to see a deep retracement towards this, even close to this low. I can probably use the bodies there. I mean, I don't even need to, because I can get to war like this. I'll probably do something like this, yeah. You never know the driver, man. I guess, yeah, you never know. So we can take this positional. I don't even need a retest here, because, again, where's my draw liquidity? Here's this high. So we can just enter this as a 50-minute positional, right? You can see it's V-shape off of a 30-minute gap, right? Not the 30 doesn't look that good, but it's fine. There is SMT. The reason I'm not entering on ES is I think this is this is not the water. Yeah, there's no way. This is very closer, by the way. So since we're in this trade, we have to be mindful of ES hitting this high first if it does happen. Right? Because if it does, NQ is still like consolidating here, it's likely that that is an SMT, okay? That can hold. So we're probably gonna go break even at that point or just close the position. Okay, there's that. So we're in this trade. See what happens here. Kind of just consolidate. Start a new gap. Okay, so there is a gap here. I'll move this to the right here. Here's this gap right here. And ideally here, you trade away from a 50-minute swing point that's formed within this gap. If you want to trade, like, let me see this 5-minute. Okay. We could try this potentially. So YM is just the weaker is also CSDing. There's ES, CSDing, and Q. The only one is RTY, but again, if I'm trading a triad, I don't really care about RTY. It's more so if I'm looking at YM, right? We can go over this. Like if I'm not seeing if this doesn't happen, then this YM here, this CSD here is likely to fail on YM. That is not a reason for me not to take a trade on ES though. So we could trade this. To R, because that's marginal liquidity, and yeah, we can just enter market here. So this would be the creation of a swing, but there's a couple candles here. You could wait probably. Alright, so this is expanding. Alright, so this just hits TP. Alright. I think the 5-minute here, I don't like this 5-minute, I'll be honest. I'm gonna wait for this 3-minute here. Alright, so that hits TP. It retests our entry. Okay, and this also, it did hit the highest point of the day. I really don't care about this. Like, oh, I already hit it, but I would not go break even, right? Because look at this. There's no way. This is not like going break even at the highest point of the day or lowest. It has to be like, there has to be a reason, right? If this is a fair swing, right? You can see these are all fair swings to this high. Like, arguably, these are a little bit closer, so you could go break even at this high, I guess. Yeah, probably gonna do that. But if it's a fair swing, right? If we like look at on ES, imagine like, I mean not on ES, my bad. Just imagine this was the high today, right? Doesn't make sense to reverse here. No, right? It should reverse off of this high. Right. So having said that, okay, so that looks like it holds. All right, so R2 is expanding lower. White hit this high with a large wick. See what happens here. Okay, so we hit that high. At this point, I would probably be break even. Because ES hit the draw. Okay, there it is. Yeah. You see what I'm talking about? So you have not really swing high into space now, and ES hits the draw. So like here, this could be a very good reason to reverse. I don't want to see this deep of retracement again. If you're trading towards this, it's not pretty good. So we can go break even there. Or you could trade your stop again. We below this low, I guess. Like ideally, we don't trade below this 50-minute low, right? If you're going to expand. Yeah, you could do that, but I'll probably go break even here. So whatever, this would have hit the draw liquidity. This is still expanding, which means that this probably was just is there another gap here? So there's like SMT with this. It's not a gap though. Yeah. So it's not a gap, but where we can see this has a deeper retracement. Alright, so we got V shapes here. Again, I'm not really interested in these though. I'll be completely honest. So PSP on the 3-minute. Okay, this is approaching TP. Alright, so it is TP there. Very clean 50-minute. Yeah, I mean. Oh yeah, I forgot. So I took one of these trades. I took the ES trade. It was a little bit different. I'll go over it in a second. I think there was a strength switch here somewhere though. Like on NQ? No, it's not even NQ. It's like oh yeah, it's like this, right? This 4 hour. Yeah, so on the ES you can see what? You can see why M doesn't take out this low. Right? ES does, and then we get a strength switch via SMT fill. So it's not, I mean, I guess it's with this low as well. We probably try against this low. Because they take out this low. Yeah, there's. Oh no, it doesn't. ES doesn't take that low. But just, I mean, it's not even on NQ. Yeah, so it's with this, the opening price of this. Whatever, man. I mean, it's pretty weird. I wouldn't really, like, necessarily use this or consider this a strength switch. It's just, whatever. This is just expanding cleanly. Such a clean framework, right? We left these relatively guys. If you remember, this is where it got stop out break even, and it just doesn't make sense to reverse here. So we're just getting rid of liquidity. And yeah, this V shape here really tells the story. Alright, we get this. Really. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I wouldn't trade this CSD. This looks so. Yeah, there's no way you trade this. Like you could trade this go breaking on this high. I mean, I don't think it works. Okay, so stop by break even. And these are serving deeper retracement. Again, I don't think these can expand way past. Okay, so it is leaving like these equal highs though. Let's see. Let's see the 4-hour candle as well. All expansion candles as well. Yeah, this is, I mean, so it's not a good drawing, but that's a 4 hours like gap. Even here, so I'll be probably done for that day, right? Thank you. Hit the draw liquidity. Yes, hit the draw liquidity. YM could potentially trade into these relatively equal highs or equal highs. But again, my draw liquidity for YM was probably gonna be like this swing here. These swings here, right? This 4-hour gap, pretty much. Yeah, it's just this 4-hour gap. I don't think it's gonna be able to expand past this. And same thing on RTY. So probably just want to trade NQES. Like we could wait and see for 10. Okay, so this is the 10 M close. So we did fail to manipulate this. I don't think we have it is just enough to get there. Unless 10 M is a very small wick. It's possible, but I doubt that's the case. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I mean, why not? Yeah, SMT. Honestly, I wouldn't like SMT fill here though. I'd rather have like PHP instead of SMT field because it's like so high into the range. Oh wait, I didn't try. Do we have a gap here? We do. Okay. We're leaving these very soon, by the way. Let me see the 4-hour close. Okay. So we trade into the gap even on ES. Do you get this? There's this 3 minutes, not V-shape though. This OB is pretty small. You could take this, I guess. Let me see. Yeah, so like you could take this technically. I think it would be fine. There's like some these lows. You could go break even here. Again, but I think I wouldn't trade by him at this point. So this is V shaping as well, but I don't think you can take this. You can take this on ES probably. It's extremely high into the range, man. I don't like this. I don't like this. Just here, anything here, if 50 minutes CSD, this CSD is higher probability here. It's like super high into the range. And the problem is, this is also why it didn't work. So we're overextended for the day, and this is like what is this? It's not on the guess is a C2, so this would be a Kino 4 on the 4-hour, but I don't know. I wouldn't take this. Mechanically, you definitely can, right? Because we failed to play that high. And but the thing is as well here, we are at the highest point of the day as well. There's pretty much nothing to the left unless we hit this high, and between this high and where prices. So here you pretty much longing at the highest point of the day, so right? You can see this hits the highest point of the day. So you can't really take that in my opinion. Probably take something on NQ because it is a little bit closer. But yeah. But you don't get this 5 minute. If you get this 5 minute with SMT field, this would have been fine, I guess. These have 3 minute equal lows. Okay, I don't think that's much even. So YM gets deeper tracing, this will stop you out break key. I mean not YM RTY. And yeah, we just kind of chop around, I guess. For menu fractal. Yeah, do this PA right. When you hit the draw liquidity, no, okay, so NQ hits that. This is probably gonna cap the range of right. This is pretty close proximity. But now that we hit that, it's pretty much gonna be it, I think. Alright. We're gonna stop there. And we're gonna go over the trade I took. So we have SMT here, and is this reversing here? Because it is. We potentially traded this lower. What happened here? We don't have CSD though. It happens here. Okay, when you already hit these. Yeah, okay. So no trade there. I guess this could trade lower, but again, we're not gonna reach this. If you want to trade a scalp, you probably want to short here, but WAM is not reversing there. Right here, it's not really reversing. This is not V-shaped CSD. So I'll probably end it there. Okay. Let's go over the trade I took, and it was this ES trade. Now here, I tried to enter market. So you remember it's off of that 50 minutes. So I tried to enter market, but my positional, like that thing that trading view pretty much was not allowing me to see my exact risk. And so what I did, I just ended up putting my my limit order here. Put my limit order to this gap. Usually you do get some sort of like quote unquote manipulation, right? With the driver doesn't always like just expand with no wick. That's very weird, right? So it's probably gonna put in a wick. So yeah, I wanted this position. I could have probably done something like this just to dumb myself in this trade. I just enter here. But yeah, very clean. Of course, I go for 2R, but I was very confident we would hit this high. And that was way before 2R, but yeah. And that's the only trade I took for that day. I could have definitely taken the 15-minute position here. Like ideally you take this on yes, but you can see it's like cannot get to R. So if you want to take 15-minute position, you can take this, or you can wait for this, right? Or you can wait for 15 minutes, 1 point and trade that. All right. so we can skip. So that was Monday. I remember. Let's go over Tuesday. A daily close. Alright, so we're bullish. Ideally, we're still trading towards these highs. We are very, very small wick. We're leaving equal. Look at this, bro. Alright. I'm just gonna hit those. The problem is if we can get like a trade, like trade entry to that. Okay, so this closes like an indecisive candle. It's not C2. It's if we open here, would be closed here, so it would be probably indecisive, just indecisive candle. So we demand a little bit more off of this. So we have previous days high here. We do have SMT with that, but you can see these assets are not really reversing. Or it's with this, but they're not really reversing here. There's no way we're gonna reverse off of equal highs. It just doesn't make any sense. So this is just a retracement. Even though this asset is expanding, can you hit this low? Or is this guy gonna cap off the range? Well, we'll see, honestly. Well, if you want to trade this higher, these highs, we definitely need a C2 the 4 hours. So we're gonna have to wait for 10 to trade this asset. This we could trade towards these lows. There is no SMT though. Like I need the highs to be like here. Like ideally in R2Y. You wanna see again the highs on an hourly gap for our like OB. But we don't get that. So probably gonna be no positional entries here. Here we're very close. We hit this low. Right, we have SMT, but this one minus fin to reverse. Let's see what happens on yes, where it gets like to confirm this SMT. We need yes to reverse here. It's not really doing that. Yeah, it's just not doing that. All we left here is 4 hour vertically equals, and this is a daily swing. But let me check. Okay, let me label it. And it's a daily here. Okay, so we want to wait for YM here. See what YM does. Okay, so YM is not reversing here. See, is there an hourly swing? There's a bunch of like hourly swings here. We don't have to hit these, but if you don't get a C2 into expansion right away, we're probably gonna hit those. Okay, we're expanding lower. So that's why you don't trust. You cannot trade this CSD, right? This SMT is not confirmed. Unless we also get the CSD on yes. Or just displacement, I guess. Yeah, you can see like this is just expanding low. I mean, even wham, get a wrist. So it's probably gonna hit those lows. So we do get a CSD, and this is also pretty weird. We get the CSD on the weaker asset and not on the other asset, right? So you never take the CSD. Because it just doesn't make sense for YM to reverse. This is gonna be like it's gonna be the C2 into expansion, not really, because like you see the hourly as on a large rook. If you don't hit these lows, there's like almost no reason to reverse, right? Are we gonna reverse leaving fairy swings? Probably not. That's how you know that CSD is not gonna hold. Okay, so we get this, and again, we want to see confirmation that YM is likely to expand higher. I mean, I'll be completely honest, can we even reach this high, bro? This would be so hard to do today. It's probably not gonna happen. Alright, so we do get, never mind, we do get CSD. But now these also expand, or what? Okay, so we have Bruce stays low. Here we have equalizer. Alright, so we get very CSD on all of these. Let's see. So even though I don't like the high today, this is tradable, I guess. This has this, you could probably trade this, I guess. Lower. Like this CSD, I don't know, man. I'll be honest. It's just probably, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to get to this low. But yeah, YM is now reversing here. We have RTY leading even. Problem is, I mean, we'll be turning over from the 30-minute swing point, which is fine. Or there's no way we reach this low before 10 a.m. Okay, so we get a V-shape CSD on ES. At least only 3 minutes. Let me get rid of this. So whatever the SMT is validated, that's fine. Look at the low. Are we inside of like 4-hour gap? So we are inside this 4-hour gap. Okay. And we barely topped this OB. Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, of course, this asset is not going to be able to reverse though, right? Like, unless it's like at 10. Okay, so we get this CSD. Okay, so I remember this. So unfortunately, you could probably take this. This is a very small OB. This 3-minute here. And I cannot take as a continuation. Like, does it make sense for me to do this? No, right? We could just stop me out. Like, this would be so small. I don't like that, right? I'll be pretty much running a 1-minute OB at this point. You can see this is 1-minute OB here. And I don't do that. But yeah, if you do this, yeah, I know this delivers. So in hindsight, so obviously we should expand higher, but I want to see a very clean signature in price. So we expand. What you could do here, but okay, I mean, at this point, probably not. But if you got a gap, something like this, I could probably trust this, right? I'm trusting the gap more than this, but we don't get that. The 5-minute, oh, the same thing, bro. Yeah. INQ, perhaps could try. I mean, this gap, probably do something like this, but I don't think it's probably gonna reach TP, and there's not 2-hour opportunity as well. You could try something like this. We're gonna try. I mean, why not? We're gonna try something like this. Alright, so it hits TP before our limit order, and yeah. So of course we don't want to shade this. This is actually not likely to expand higher or lower. We can see this is the weaker asset or the triad, and it's the strongest asset between RTY and YM. So usually don't want to trade this. Like this is just gonna be extremely low probability. If you're gonna trade anything lower, it's gonna be RTY. Now this is 10 here in a second. Do we get a 15-minute gap? We do a 15-minute gap, so I wouldn't necessarily trade this. Or we probably could. Okay, so we hit this high, but we still have, let's see. Okay, there's not much here on NQ. But based on how we react off of this, and so the high is this one, right? You see, oh, it's this one all the way up here. Is this 4-hour here? So we're probably not gonna reach the same daily high. But if we fail to learn about this high, we can probably go to this. Okay. Let's see if there's a 50-minute gap here for continuation, right? So we do fail to manipulate that high on NQ. We get this on ES. So we immediately this gap. Let's see if we get a V shape. Okay, so we do get it here. We don't get it on ES. We're definitely not gonna get it on YM. That's why I wouldn't take this. And also the Tron liquidity here is like this 4-hour swing. It's like there's pretty much nothing. Yeah, there's not great. So it's a good sign that we're failing to manipulate this high or ES, but yeah. Okay, so we do get this. The problem what YM is doing. Okay, so YM hits this low. Now we have SMT between these two. And if YM does CSD, Could probably take this. All right, there it is. Look at this, right? YMCSDs and Q. Oh, we get this on the 5-minute? Okay, that's fine. Get this 5-minute first. But we do need at least like a 3-minute on YM. Okay, right? That's how we confirm this SMT. Get this CSD. Oh, you could probably enter here. I mean, so if you enter here, you already have a 5-minute, right? So I mean, yeah, do this and does that. Probably use the you can use the bodies here. And you can get to orbit. Just about that. I'll probably enter market, right? If it's a couple ticks like this, they just enter market. So we actually it's pretty weird here. Because we're entering off of the 5-minute CSD when this 5-minute still hasn't happened, where we have the 3-minute, you know, this 3 minutes still hasn't happened. But yeah, I think it is still valid. Or you can trade in Cuba. Yeah. You can see why I'm not searching. I don't care about RTY. Again, I don't really care about that. Alright, by this point, see the 5. Okay, we have 5 minutes. By this point, we can go break even. We shouldn't come back all the way on here before hitting that high. Alright, there's 2R. Very simple. I guess you could have demanded better fill. I don't think so. This candle was like here though. Okay. So yeah, it's with the 5-minute close. But yeah, we can just enter market. So what trade did I take? I think here I definitely don't want to trade this CSD. If you want to trade the reverse, you could trade this 5-minute. Like just almost, I mean, I don't want to trade this. Yeah, 5-minute gap. You trade this, I guess, if you want. I don't trade like that. I traded continuation. This continuation 3-minute wasn't the best, right? Same thing on NQ. Or I mean, on NQ probably we get close. No, we don't get close above this. Otherwise, you probably trade this, but we don't close. I didn't even see that. You could probably trade this, I guess. Alright, so let's go. What I ended up taking. It's like, oh, it's pretty late, so I would probably stop there. So the trades I end up taking. Alright, so there is here. I pretty much took this a very small 5-minute, so this is my mistake completely. This is a very small OB. It's this 5-minute here. We still had SMT, and the reason it doesn't work again is because YM is not reversing, right? Once you get this 3-minute CSD, then I can trust this SMT, and therefore this 5-minute CSD here, that where we're going to be like that. You could probably even close it here. I mean, you're just giving up like 0.1R. That's probably fine. So then I kept looking because I knew we're probably going to deliver it this high. And what it did actually is, instead of trading and ES, I traded NQ, or not traded, I put a limit order at this 5-minute OB. And I took it out once we got this 3-minute CSD here. This 3-minute, very small. Before we could hit 2R. It doesn't even, I mean, I'll show you guys, it doesn't hit 2R because he has gets that draw liquidity. So this would have been a break even if I left my limit order. And I didn't realize at the time that this drawn liquidity was way closer. And it's probably way better. Right, this is a daily swing point. Right, we're very close to this. So we're probably gonna hit it. And so yeah, that's what happened that day. Now we can go over tomorrow. So we have FOMC, okay. Let's go next day open. Okay, so 2 days of expansion, we definitely did not hit all-time highs on NQ, by the way. Let me go back. Or we were definitely not that close. Yeah, so we hit pretty much just above this gap. You can see. But yeah, so we're just above this, which completely different chart, but I guess we'll take it. But we did have yes hit this high. Okay, that's what happened. So we get here. It's a PSP close, right? And we have SMT reduce this high. Now, if let me go over here, see PSP close. These. If this SMT, thank you, NES start displacing lower, we can trust this SMT to on YM to deliver lower. We don't have a swing point though, I'll be honest. So we are stuck in a consolidation range, right? Where the lefties equalize. We took out this 4-hour high and this place. I cannot. Ideally, we don't do that. But you have to pay attention to weapons on NQES, I guess. So we hit optimize on ES after many days of expansions. And do we have SMT here? No. Right. So this can also has no top work. So I'll be completely honest. This framework to trade something back into the range, it's not very good. Of course, we have no wick here and no established low today. But this swing point here, it's not the best. I mean, you can definitely tell, right? Like ideally, what we get is YM takes out this high, or if it already did, then I could probably trust this swing point, right? Be 2-stage where we take up stage high, but then we fail to take this, and then we get a V-shape hourly CSD here. Holy, that looks pretty good actually. But yeah, with no SMT, this is just very. These are just very smooth to me. Okay, that's how I look at this, right? Same thing here. And yeah, I mean, all right, before I continue, let me go. Let me pause this real quick. I'll be back soon. I'm back. So, where were we? I actually don't remember exactly. Okay, so we're trading this gap. Oh yeah, I was talking about this swing point not being the greatest swing point ever. Let's see if this loads. Okay, let me fix my internet real quick. I'll be back. Yeah. Okay, so I was about to look at this 6-hour. Did we retreat inside a 6-hour? Nope. Okay. What is it, hourly? What? No. Okay. So yeah, we're just consolidating here. So there is SMT here. Wait, I mean, let's see if this holds. Ideally, I'm bearish overall. Except for RTY, we could probably, like, if I'm looking at this, R2 is probably gonna hit this right before going lower, right? Guess. We already have SMT represents high. Yeah, but yeah, we're leaving fader swings, right? Ideally, we hit this high, right? If we're not gonna reverse off of this, we're gonna fail to manipulate it, right? You can see close above it, retrace inside this 4-hour gap and reach this place. I get a pretty deep retracement. Oh, okay, so one thing I forgot to mention. So the way I trade FOMC days, and why I'm looking at the AM session in the first place, is because I do allow myself to trade trade the AM session. But I'll go for lowering it for example, if my Tron liquidity on RTY is this high, I just imagine it was like, I don't know, or this. I'm gonna take profit way before that, right? I'm gonna take profit here because the AM session is not necessarily likely to expand. We could do that, or you can trade AM session as like the manipulation. So if I'm bearish for the day, I'm not gonna do it, but if I'm bearish for the day, sometimes depends on like how the day is currently developing. Sometimes AM session will be like, for example, the manipulation, so that PM session can expand. Right. So you could trade that as well. Having said that, though, let's see. We see the 30-minute here on these assets. Okay, so we left equal lows here. There is SMT there. Okay, so like if we start displacing away from it, I wouldn't trade this, but it's important to pay attention, right? Because we don't have a high today. Again, you could trade the manipulation, right? I'm willing to do that in this case. We'll have to see if this holds. It is a C2 here. What is this? Oh, this is inside a gap. Okay. 30-minute. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. You have some T with this low. When I'm hit the lowest point of the day, well, it's not a relative swing, but just like the daily open could be something. Oh yeah, I remember this day. Okay, yeah. It's very unlucky. I mean, you guys will see. Tell you what in a second. So hit this. We re-hit this low. So now 9 AM is opening low first. Okay, there is. We hit this low. Okay. Now we have like this on ES technically. But you see this is not V-shape for me to want to take this. And we get this, right? You can see now YM is displacing away from this. Right? What do we have on RTY, which is still inside of this gap? Bear in mind. We have a V shape, and it would be that I could possibly trust, right? What I actually did this day is, okay, we're about to get this 5 minutes as well, which would be pretty good. What I did this day is I waited for a gap. Of course, like, okay, this I put my limit here. I didn't get filled. And then I put my limit order here, weigh myself here. Now I have 2 gaps here. There's also about to be a 5 minute, okay, where I didn't wait for the 5 minute. And this allows me to get to R with this high. Okay? Because what is YM doing? Look at this, we have even a PSP here. You can see YM is V shaping, right? This is about to be a 15-minute CSD, right? So I'm just anticipating that in this case because there's gaps. I'm not necessarily waiting for the 15-minute CSD here. Probably could. So again, I'm looking at RTY and YM only in this case. And even though I'm overall like kind of bearish on the daily, especially on YM, again, AM says you can trade the manipulation here. So I wanted to take this trade, and as you'll see, actually, does fill me. By this point, you could probably trade your stop loss, not necessarily go break even. But yeah, where this hits TP, and then so it's super weird. And yeah, we leave these here, start reversing. But again, which is inside this 6 hour, by the way. So even though we left this high, right? I don't really care about this because it's a 6 hour gap, right? That's what I'm looking at more mostly. Having said that, so there, I actually wanted to take that trade, as you see, that day, the 28th. There's no trade because trade away was down. Very unlucky. I was freaking out, man. I was freaking out because my order food are not getting filled, and I thought it was my connection. I was so pissed, but it was my connection at the end of the day. You can see this is a very small C2 into expansion, right? This is 9M opens low. C2 expands away with gaps. We can trust these gaps. And you were going for the low hanging fruit. Like, yeah, low hanging fruit here. High of the day. And yeah, pretty weird that we leave these. I'll be honest, most of the time we do hit, right? If I was going for a full TP, this would have been a break even. Break even. Look at this. Crazy. Look at how quickly it does it. Okay, as well. Yeah. Well, having said that, that was a pretty clean framework for the AM sessions. You can see this is V-shaping, I guess. Yeah, okay, I didn't know. I see the 5 minute on ES because I guess the 5 minute was tradable. Yeah, so this is the first CSD though. You can see this is the first CSD. So I don't trade this. As you can see here, if we get like a continuation, you could trade this, I guess. I see the 3 minutes. Well, now we get this 5 minutes first. See what YM is doing here. So it's retracing here. Pretty deep retracement, I'll be honest. I guess you could say, I mean, so we're in a range, so I guess you could say this could be a retracement before we hit this high. But this 4-hour candle at this point does not support expansion. It's just super seek and destroy. So you could probably trade this. I mean, and yes, it is at all-time high. So we have session highs and whatnot here. Right. Okay. This 4-hour. Okay, no, this 4-hour does not support expansion. It does not. So that's lower probability for sure. Okay, it doesn't deliver. Yeah, it's just whenever like we don't have a daily draw. Right, so what's the daily draw liquidity higher? Nothing, right? There's no previous days high really taken. I do consider previous days high and low a daily draw overall. Daily swing points, daily fair value gaps, weekly swing points, weekly fair value gaps. Those are all good draws in liquidity. But if you don't have them most of the time, price is just gonna chop, right? Especially before FMC. Right? It's just the framework in itself. It's not clean, right? Also, we get like this manipulation. Now we do have SMT by the way the high of the day, so this was all I was talking about. So you can potentially trade this lower. I mean, I don't like this framework. I'll be honest. Let's see how this goes. I don't like this framework yet. Also, instead of a gap, like ES is probably gonna get to the at this point we probably trade ES. I mean, yeah, so the SMT is here. My bad. It's like this. At this point, you trade like ES. 30-minute. So, oh wait, looks pretty good actually to trade this lower. Again, I don't like the PA, but if we had a little bit better PA, we'd be tradable. Yeah, okay, it's not necessarily V shape here. You would trade this CSD. I think it might be too wide though. See if you get the retest, use the wicks. You can just about get to OR. So I don't know about this trade if it hits, I'll be honest. It does. Okay, you could probably take this actually. Let's go back. So we're right inside of this gap, right? The problem is NQ still hasn't like CSDs here. Is it is also not sleeping phrases. Okay, so this framework is not as clean. Let's see if we have 5-minute. Okay. So we're about to get this 5-minute. Yeah, we're about to get this 5-minute. I guess you could wait. Let's see if we get it. Overall, just even though we don't have a CSD here. Alright, so I'm asking for 2R with this low, which is the low of the day, I think. Yeah. You can see this is us before 10 as well. Be fun, it's 9:45. Yeah, it's a 50-minute close like this. And yeah, look at this 4-hour window has no wick. I'm assuming that kind of probably 10 is probably gonna spend the work. You'll probably wait for 10, I guess. You treat this though? So this is 10, right? Okay, yeah, I mean if I saw this would probably wouldn't be the best CSD. Oh, there is SMT though, it's like not this high. No, okay, we don't take it a 50-minute swing. Yeah, this is reversing here. Right. Oh, holy, this actually dropped pretty fucking hard. Wait, I guess I mean, I wouldn't trade this. No, I wouldn't trade away from these. That's a little bit cleaner framework when we have SMT like this. And I don't know, I guess it's not as clean. You'd probably trade like this. Have your stop loss here. Can you get too hard with that? Like this? Oh, you can. Okay, this would have been way better. Let me go back. Because you wait for 10, because the SMT doesn't exist. You wait for 10. So this 10 may open. Makes a shallow high, and then we CSD. Now this CSD is not as V-shaped. You have a small here. And look at YM, right? I mean, you could trade YM, I guess, at this point, but the problem is those value swings. You can trade in middle asset here. And you place a limit order here for 2R with that. You barely get tagged in. I mean, I guess you could place a little bit lower because of this, right? Or it's actually like past that. And yeah, so here you cannot go break even. You retest your entry. You can't go break in here because now you have this OB. I would already trail, I mean, I guess. And yeah, it hits that 2R. I guess there's that as well. But let's go over PM session here. I wouldn't take this, I'll be honest, it's not. Like, I guess if you take the first year of the year, off of that 30-minute gap, this would be pretty decent with SMT at the highest point of the day. Right, yes, hit the all-time high, so it's likely to retrace. I guess, yeah, I guess that CSD is a little bit better. Even though you don't get it yet on NQ, yeah, like this inversion, right? At least we have that. But yeah, I mean the trade idea in itself is similar. So yeah, stop there. And we'll go over PM session. So your PM. So let's start again from the daily. So you have a C2 here. Okay, so we already hit the lowest point of the day. We haven't on NQ yet, I believe. This honestly could expand towards these lows as well as one RTY. Again, it's not the cleanest framework RTY, so we don't have to trade RTY. It's probably a bunch of like gaps, but oops. But yeah, so we have a 6-hour C2. As well as looking pretty much on, even though we left for the equalize, we have this, right? So it's a very clean framework for shorts on YM. Having said that though, even also not the, we put in a new low today, okay, so I guess we don't have to re-hit this low. I guess yes could hit this at this point. Not the cleanest again. Oh yeah, I'll be completely honest. I think the AM session trades there, well, either one of these two is probably, they were probably the highest probability for that day. At this point, like it doesn't really look that good. So you have PSP here. Yeah, you can see what YM is doing. YM is not really doing anything. You have PSP taking a C2. This does CSD. We see NQES. There's like 2 stage with this. I mean, I'll be honest, this just doesn't really look that good though. But it's like this. Actually, it's not even like that. It's like this on ES. Having said that though, do we even have a swing point? No, we don't. Get rid of this. This just doesn't look that good. So let's see what the driver does. Okay. I mean, we're pretty much at the drawn liquidity at this point. Except for YM, just leaving equal lows. Okay, BCSD higher. We go higher. Okay. What about this? Also leaving various swings. Okay. BCSD higher here. Okay. What a drop. Oh, there is SMD here. So again, I guess I honestly would probably trade this up. I would probably trade RTY. Yeah, we're fucking, but can we get to orbit that low? Probably not. That's the lowest point of the day as well. Like, you try this, I guess. You can try and get to R. 1 minute gap. No, this is 1430. I mean, how do you trade this, Ben? The stop loss is extremely wide. I don't think there's no way we get there. Nah, there's no way. I don't think it's possible, Loki. You could try, I guess. I would trade this, honestly, as opposed to YM. Because it's like... I guess YM does have the smallest wick on the daily. But this PA is not good. At least this was with like Gala here, we displaced the wave, consolidated, we have SMT here. We have SMT with this high, by the way. Okay, we had it's like 2-stage. It's not really. I'll be honest, not really. But it's a little bit cleaner. Yeah. So it's a 30-minute C2. So we could try this, but we have to go break even at this low. Or probably this low, I guess. Oh god, we'll break even here. Okay, wait, can you know to mount with this R? This low? I mean, at this point, might as well try to do this. Because I think this should just gonna rip. No, definitely not partial. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, this is a break even though, right? It's... Yep. So it's a break even because it's those lows and then start reversing. Crazy. Yep. Alright, so I'm probably done for that day. Same thing here. Open break even. Bro, I wonder if you can even do it fast enough though. This is definitely super fast. It just opened and repped. Alright, so we'll be done for that day. We just consolidate here. Right. I guess we do eventually probably go lower. Yeah, there is. Well, it's very, 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 very late. There's no way to take this shot. Yeah. Alright, so we done for that day. PM session. Okay, so we can skip to Thursday. Unemployment claims. So you gotta skip to 9 though. Oh, I have to edit this. Ooh. Wait, what if I get out of... Wow. Let me pause this and fix it. Okay, I just had to modify the day range and that day, but of course now there's new data. I created this a little bit far back, so yeah. So to get the daily, we actually do expand here. And we have a C2 on ES. So get the weekly. This is Thursday, yeah. I'll be honest. I mean, so ideally, I'm not that close. We're not that close actually. PSP? There's a PSP. There's SMT repeats this high. Well. So what a V shape here, actually. Holy. Wait, this is clean though. They got all these. Again, so I'll be still eyeing these, even though, again, the range eye would be pretty much this. At this point, I'm probably choosing just to go lower. See, this high. Here the day, as you can see here, this lid just like, yeah, just making a shallow the Thursday, right? So 8:30 news. Did I take a trade on Thursday? Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah. We'll go over that, man. Holy, pretty bad week by me. This definitely a whole bunch of mistakes. I gotta focus. Okay, so this candle does not support expansion here. Even this it doesn't support expansion. If you want to trade these, I like to trade RTY and YM lower here. We have a 70 previous high on RTY as well. Alright, we're still leaving these fair swings. And my John liquidity for RTY is this weekly gap overall. Probably not gonna reach it today because yeah, pretty large range already. We can definitely reach these lows, right? At least these, right? That's what I'm eyeing overall. What the frick? Why is it showing like that? Okay. So your SMT repeats this high. We have PSP here as well. I mean, holy wait, this is actually clean for core on yes. And this candle, I mean, not on yes actually. It's like mostly on Q. All right, so let's look at the hourly area. So we do have SMT here, and this is C2. We have SMT here as well, currently though. And I'll be honest, I don't like these highs though on ES. Well, what does the daily candle do? It opens low first, makes a shallow low, makes a shallow high. So we're kind of in this consolidation. Then we do get SMT with the highest point of the day. So what means pretty much here. Okay. So we get SMT with that as well as previous day's high. I would displace away from that. On, I guess you could say this is definitely an expansion away from it. Just this candle close, you can see in the 30-minute. Yeah. Okay. Definitely very large break. It's a C2. It's an hourly C2. It's just, and it's a bullish candle, right? It's an hourly C2 here. You can see. The only thing is, I don't like this where he has very close to these highs. Right. So it's actually like this, I think. Wait, no, the opening, no, it's the opening is here. But with ES, it is, there's also a SMT between these highs, right? Okay. We could probably trade in Q. I'll be honest, because this floor can, like, ideally trade in Q here. Daily, we expanded way too much. And even though this could, like, this close is very bullish, and ideally trade ES. This for candle does support exponential, whereas on ES, probably not as much. So we're gonna pair this with a swing point. So we do have SMT, but we don't have a swing point yet. Are we inside a 15-minute gap? Not really. Is there an hourly gap? Probably. Possibly. Oh, you already traded inside this hourly here. Okay, we just need a swing point though. You have this SMT, right? This would be the continuation, Loki. Already. Alright, so this has it. That's pretty clean V shape. Okay, we don't get the CSD consolidate. So here, I probably want to see these being taken before trading this lower. Also, this far doesn't support expansion, whereas on NQ, okay, we are inside of a 30-minute gap on ES. Which one would I rather trade? Honestly, ES is so close to these highs that I'd actually rather trade NQ, right? I'd probably rather trade NQ, if I'm being honest. And my draw liquidity is the lowest point of the day. Or, I mean, yeah, I mean, these are pretty spaced out. Pretty spaced out, so you could get definitely some bullish reactions off of this, but can we do this? I think we probably take this. I mean, definitely just mark order this shit. I could keep this on yes as well. I just don't like these highs, right? Faces are, I mean, I guess we have to trust this though, because like if I take this on NQ, I'll probably like I'm trusting these highs not to be taken, because if yes goes to hits these highs, like this is gonna fail. So ideally, I mean, yeah, but this far candle does have the smallest wick, so I already trade those, I'll be honest. But yeah, in faces of price, so we're expanding. Well, here it's not V-shaped, so we're still expanding. I can still trust this to expand towards this low, even though it's not V-shaped. I mean, this is a V-shape enough, right, where I can trust this, even though it's kind of consolidating, right? So we could take this. We could wait for a gap, probably, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even think I need a gap, I'll be honest. Okay, so we get this. This is probably the driver, though, right? It is. So technically, I would be inclined to go break even. I think you could go break even here. It is the opening of a new 15-minute candle. So you get this as well. 50-minute gap here. I'll be honest, I think you don't go break even. Because we haven't hit anything significant here. You probably don't go break even, I'll be honest. Oh, I tried to hide first. Yeah, you wouldn't stop on break even. It just like, instead of this 15-minute candle, right? So your break even is inside of this. And ideally it holds. If you're right, it holds, right? Even if you come back up to your entry, ideally this 15-minute candle, like 15-minute gap holds. And what you could do, like if you didn't trade, if you didn't take that entry, you could literally trade this, right? Required to work with that. There's also this trade, like this is so beautiful. Position, right? Off of this 15-minute gap. It's not guaranteed we fill this gap, but we fill this gap before hitting this low. Probably gonna deliver that low. Okay, there is. Is Wyman's ripping here? Okay. Definitely not expected that. And yes, okay, yes, it's going nowhere as well. What is RTY doing? So we have, okay, so we hit this high. I wanna wait for, wait, oh, Lee, what the fucking, yeah, we're expanding different directions here. Wait, that's the lowest point of that? Wait, yeah. Or a close expansion. Yeah, I mean, so either trust this, you could probably get a, like, positional would be this 15-minute. I'll be honest, I would probably want to see, I'll probably need to work with this, so I'll pretty just trade the gap. We could probably even do this. I could probably do this, yeah, as well. Positional, right? We took this 5-minute. I'll do this 3-minute, just because it's V shape. It's the second CSD also, so yeah. It's a new swing point. There is SMT, right? You can see. It's a C2, it's a very small gap. It's a C2 of a gap with SMT, so you're trading this candle here, expecting not to expect. Trading this candle here. My stop was at the 9 AM high. Yeah, or you can just wait for this 15-minute, this 30-minute even. Pretty much. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities here. Just showcasing one trade, one way of taking this trade, which is pretty early, but yeah. And so we trade NQES because there's SMT repair stays high, and because YM had this V shape. Very, very clean V shape, right? Except for the what happens afterwards, but this is very clean to where you could trust this to not be taken. And so we can expect these assets to not take the high of the day. Now again, I would rather trade NQ, I'll be honest here. Because it's slower into range, you can see this expansion is pretty clean. Except for the CSD, I guess, but right. Trade into a gap, CSD, trade into it. Not into it, I mean, we don't respect this gap, but CSD lower again. This CSD, so you can definitely tell we're expanding lower. And there is SMT here as well, right? As V shape on ES. It's also like, it is expanding as well lower. Miami just ends up hitting this low. And yeah, this is very crazy, but yeah. So, I do remember this. So we hit this high. And these are fin Tony plays, so we get a V shape here. Again, not a V shape, but now we want to go for 10, right? Or we want to position ourselves prior to 10. Ideally, we wait for 10. We trade higher, right? And yeah, okay, so this would be 410. I'm pretty sure it took this. Or the retest? I think they retest because I needed to work with this low. Is it like this? It was like this. I mean, let me see. I'll get this hourly low, I think. I mean, You're probably enter market, use the bodies. I think if you use the bodies here, you're fine. Yeah, you can get pretty much to war. Okay. Gonna do that. The hourly low is not really relevant. So you can take this prior to 10, just because this OB is so even the 5 minute okay, so pretty much the same. So 5 minute of a continuation of a gap. This is very clean. I wouldn't take this, I'll be honest. Doesn't look as good. Yeah. I really like this on YM. So technically YM is still lagging asset, but still like it is far close, right? We're so close to these lows. I don't want to see this. So I mean, ideally my stop loss is not really at EQ of this. Yeah, my stop loss is pretty close to these. Okay. Because it's not, I mean, it's not that. I think in this case it's fine, right? If you're looking at these are just fitting to play this low even, right? They're just displacing lower. I don't know if it can go lower forever, but okay, we're probably gonna hit this, right? Probably gonna hit this low on NQ. I don't know about ES. Same thing here. Where my stop loss would be, my stop loss be at this high. This is a little bit better, I'm pretty sure. Because your stop loss, I mean, so yeah, my stop loss is above EQ of this wick. This will be a little bit better. Now, can we expand towards this low? The wick is pretty large. I'll probably need to work with this. So I'll demand the retest. Exactly where it did that actually. So I'll ask for this. What happens is I ask for this. I don't get filled, so I cannot move my limit order there. So what do I wait for? Then I see, okay, there's this gap on my M, right? Where I can get pretty much, if I use the bodies, I can definitely get more. Yeah, there is. I do something like this, wherever. So we can trade this. And here is actually, so this is the lowest point of the day. Here goes my first mistake here. I pretty much wanted to rush going break even. I don't know why. I just thought that I was trading the lagging asset, which usually, I mean, it's fine in this case, in my opinion. Wait, why is this 1.95? I don't really like that. Alright, so I was not liking this as much. You know, R2I hit this point of the day. I don't know why it did this honestly, because this just retests my entry and then delivers the lowest point of the day. And what I should have done is, if I wanted to de-risk, I should have just trade my stop to this high. Right. This would be losing pretty much 0.1 R, something like that. Yeah, we're not being stopped out. Well, I don't know. I felt pretty emotional. I just didn't want to see a deep retracement with equal lows and the lowest point of the day. That would have been just hindsight. So I took that trade, and then there was also this one. Oh, let's go back. Yeah, where I also took this one fairly low into the range, but this is pretty much the second CSD mark. It's like this takes a long time. Off of a not really much, to be honest. Yeah. So not really the cleanest swing point, but we have equal, I mean relatively equal lows here. So after we get this CSD, you should probably not go higher. And you can get 2R with this perfectly pretty much. So what we want to do is place a limit and I go break even at this low. Bear in mind I'm taking this trade because this I got stopped at break even, so this does deliver. And here, but since I'm gonna be completely honest, so here what it did is actually took a loss prior to this. So it's like I don't know if I'm not feeling it. And I closed for 1R somewhere around here actually. Where I should have just held, right? This would have also hit TP. Yeah, I don't know what I did that day, bro. That day was just a clean. Okay, so like this trade is a little bit lower probably. It's the second CSD, of course. So I can take this mechanically and we left relatively close with a daily swing point. We did low the week. we're probably just gonna hit it, and I can go break even at that low. So I don't know. I really didn't feel confident in my trading that day, and I took this loss is a trade I took on gold. I don't even know why I traded gold that day. I just wanted to try. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I lost as well, but it did something to me where I probably knew I should not trade this. I knew I didn't manage this properly. So I just closed this for 1 hour to end the day break even because I was not in the right mental space. And it's just at hindsight, I should not have done any of these trades I managed it poorly. So that's a very, very bad day. Even though I ended it a break even. And yeah, I mean, uh, quite a lot of mistakes made. Right. So we can take this positional. I didn't like the high today. Because I ideally tried ES, it's very closer to these lows. But I didn't like the high today here. And we're very close to it. So I would probably trade it in Q. And yeah, I mean, that would have been better, right? Instead of waiting for 10. What if I wanted to wait for 10? I should just trade these assets. Right. And we get to this daily low, and by that point I'm just done, right? I'm just not trading anything lower. Very large daily wick. I'm just done for that day. Even these assets, there's like no way I'm trading this. Alright, so we can go over Friday. Where we have PPI. I don't care about PPI, I'll be honest. So daily close. And Friday I made one mistake. Being this trade. But the next loss is valid, so we're down to hard that day. And yeah, so if I, as you can see, like this week would have been pretty good. So this trade, unvoteable. I could have taken the next one, right? Which been, well, not this actually. Would have been this, right? This 5 minute. That would have been a brilliant trade, right? So I could have avoided this loss. This could have been a 2-hour day. This if trade away wasn't down, I've been up to R. Again, unlucky. This day, if I didn't trade gold and I let either one of these two hit TP, I would have been up. And same thing here. One loss is valid. We'll talk about that. Another loss would have been avoidable. So after 2 losses, I stopped trading for that day. So I could have ended up the day up 1 hour because there's another trade opportunity after my second loss, which we'll go over in a second. It's a little bit longer session, but yeah. Okay, so let's go over it. This is very important. Why I wasn't looking at NQES. So let's go to the weekly candle. So this candle here can really do pretty much, it could just like pretty much anything. I should just mark this previous day's high, previous day's low. Like that, I'll just do it on NQ. It's pretty much the same on ES. We're just looking at NQ, so we're the same. So this candle here, right, this weekly candle is not likely to hit the highest point of the candle, and neither the high or the low. So most likely we're gonna get inside there. And can you guess the direction? Can you guess if this is gonna close bullish, if it's gonna close bearish? Not really, right? Same thing on ES. Like arguably we're rejecting this high, so you can expect lower prices, but where the daily candle looks like this, previous day, right? Usually we just have an inside there. You can tell. It's a very large, right? Because it's how we close. I mean, so you can see this V shape and whatnot, but create a fair swing here. You have this high between this high and this low. You haven't engaged with anything, right? You could even just look at the range for today as well. You just look at today high and low, right? We're just in a range. So I'm not willing to trade that, especially if the candle like this is indecisive, where it does have a pretty large wick and a large body. So it's a very large expansion day in both sides, right? This technically closes a C2, but are we respecting lower wick? Not really. Let me just show you guys real quick, right? We're going very deep, but can expect a lower wick to fail. So for this day to be bearish, not necessarily, right? It's just a day where you skip, right? You don't trade NQES because there's no very clear direction. It's just likely we get an inside day. Very, very likely. So, having said that, let's go over the weekly candle. It's important. It's a Friday on YM and RTY. I could probably just do this as well, but we're not doing it. We just look at it. Fine. Right. So, where does this weekly candle point to? Probably this low or the current low of the week. Right. Can we get to the current low of the week? The current low of the week would be this, right? Does this candle support expansion? Yes. Look at this wick, right? Super, super small, right? So I can expect this low to be taken even. We're very close. Now, of course, we are in a consolidation overall. So this becomes relatively lower probability, right? This candle is also indecisive, but we're clearly disrespecting the lower wick. So you could probably want to trade this lower. I wouldn't really trade this higher personally because just the weekly candle doesn't really make sense to go higher. At this point, we probably are going to trade away from the high of the week as opposed to away from the low of the week, right? Which is this, even though we could have a potential C2 where the day opens low first, right? That is valid again, but I wouldn't really trade that. So we're still also, by the way, still inside this gap. Very, very like obvious, right? There's no PSP. It's like no crack. There's crack calculation with this low, I guess, right? But is NQ very close to this high? No. Okay. So then this SMT doesn't really. Is it, or is it NQ showing a little bit more strength? Not really. Could be a strength switch, I guess, right? Because like this is a little bit deeper. Most people took this long, actually, yeah. But I just don't like the framework here. I can see it mechanically. This is pretty good, but because like if you look at this low, I'd be like, okay, we spread up previous day's low, we have SMT, we are V-shaping, we're likely to hit this. And if you look at intraday trading, that's for sure. I see that. That's for sure. Right. But if you look at the daily and the weekly, it just doesn't make sense for us to spend towards this high, right? Look at this. And to me, at least, doesn't really make sense. So I was not interested in that. But again, I didn't want to trade YM. I also didn't look at YM. What I was looking at is RTY. Again, the weekly candle, very small wick. What is marginal liquidity? That weekly for probably like this daily, right? Like that there's also like there's this 4 hour gap where there's a bunch of like all these fairy swings, right? You can see all these, or I'm not gonna talk all of them. What do we do here? So in that context, what do we just do? Look at the day opens low first. Okay, so that's not really good. We hit this low. And can we reverse with a bearish weekly candle that's about to close? Can we reverse with fairy swings? No, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's what I wanted to trade. I wanted to trade pretty much only RTY lower here. And possibly, it's also YM, right? You could possibly trade YM as well. Right. So let me track this, by the way. So this is going to be the high of the day. It's very important what happens here. And so let's go over, so it's very weird back here. So what I took, again, pretty much the same mistake over and over. I really need to fix this. I think it was the 5 minute. So we hit this gap and then we get V-shaped CSD. And in itself, right, this looks a pretty good trade. But the problem is, well, that's what's happening on my end. It's why I'm just showing signs of a reversal. No, right, we haven't hit this. We haven't hit this. Probably going to hit these. This far is probably going to be bullish. Right, so we want to wait. Maybe for the dryer. In fact, that does fail. And we hit this high. It's very important that we hit this high on both of these two assets. Just look what happens next. V-shape. Extremely clean V-shape. Look at this 5 minute. Right? On actually, I mean, we still don't get enough on my M. So again, I don't really care about NQ. Yes, you can see whenever there's no daily joint liquidity, not even pre-stage high, pre-stage low, we just consolidate. AM session is, I mean, even PM session, arguably. No, I guess most of the time, there is no daily draw. AM session is like this to generate liquidity, and then PM session will deliver or something. Usually that's the case, but I don't trade PM session again. I'll just avoid this. Just this is how you can anticipate, right? Low probability conditions. Right. And though there's SMT and whatnot, okay. So having said that, let's go. We can probably. I'm gonna do this. Why not? Okay. So you can see V shape, right? We don't have the CSD yet, I guess, but you can clearly tell we're disrespecting bullish overflow. So this is also the other thing is the problem is this is 10M open, and we don't have a C2 on YM, right? So can I trust this to be the high today? Not really, right? It's leaving period swings. So what I need is a 90-minute or a 6-hour C2. The 6 hour is gonna take quite a bit actually to form, so I think I just look at the right. So this is there's 30-minute left to close, right? This candle. So I mean, pretty much I don't really need to wait for that, but you'll see why it's important. I do need to wait. I do wait for that. And so, that's the first trade I took, and then this is 10:30, right? Or about to be, actually about to be, or we can skip one more candle. Right, so this is the 90-minute close. Look at this. I mean, I think I do need NQES here. That's a PSP as well, right? So these guys are also starting to reverse from this high. It's not the highest point of the day, and so technically these are the weakest, but I wouldn't really want to trade this again. I'd rather just like, does this look V-shaped to you? No, right? It just doesn't. It just looks like consolidation. And I guess we did take out this high, right? Forms the 90-minute C2. But you'll see it's not enough. So when I see this, right? So this is all I want to see. So we don't get this CSD yet, but we get this, right? With a new 50 minutes one point, like that. We have 50 minutes CSD with this close, right? And again, here I don't really like this. There is SMT here as well, by the way. Between ES and Q, and YM, right? Even NQ, and we get even 50 minutes CSD. So I can trust this to go lower. All right, so I don't really care about NQES, but it's still important to understand what YM is doing and if YM is likely to go lower here. And so what I do is I take the retest of this gap. I must stop at the bodies here, definitely fine. And I can get just about to war with that. Or I could have done something like this, wherever. I mean, you guys get the point. So very unfortunate. So this is a very good trade, right? Everything is aligned. We hit this, we have data low. I mean, no, it hit data low, we have low of the day, and all these various swings. So what ends up happening here, I get tagged in and I get stopped out. So what happens here? You go here. Let's look at ES. So ES hits this high. And then, so now we have this SMT, by the way, because RTY took this high, right? You have this, and then we get this, I believe. So this is a totally valid loss here. I took personally, I think I consider this to be a valid loss. Everything is aligned, V-shaped signature. We're not leaving failure swings. We're from the high of the day, and we get a continuation up. What you could say is this is not super V-shaped, and I would agree with you. Also, my stop loss here. Let's go back and see my stop loss here is pretty low into this 90-minute candle. Ideally, I have it a little bit higher, right? Ideally, my stop loss is even above, should be above this high. If I want to trade this, right? Ideally, I would have done something like this. You get this fill, and I can go pretty much break even at this point. I mean, not really. There's not much. I mean, so the problem is, so this is a positional-ish entry prior to 10:30. And even if you stop me out, that's the only thing I can say about this trade. Even if I get stopped out, right, my stop loss is not at EQ or above of the wick, so I can get stopped out and it does deliver. But nonetheless, I still think it's a trade I would take every single time. And yeah, I mean, it looks very similar to the YM trade we took. I mean, not the YM, which trade was it? I forgot. Was it YM? Yeah, it looks like this trade, right? It's very similar. I guess the CSD here happens a little bit fast, a little bit quicker. But you're still trading 10 a.m. expecting your stop loss not to be hit, even though it's like the wick probably is like something like this. You see this is a lower, so I would still take that. And so what we get here is yes, hits this high, in turn giving us SSMT here, and you can see now we're respecting this wick, right? We are doing that. It's a little bit deeper, but it's fine. And yeah, we get this V-shape 5-minute. Now we don't get 5-minute yet on NQES, but we get this, right? That's enough for me. And what I did trade here is, I think I entered market here on this 5-minute close. So it's like, so there's these two SMTs, right? So we take out this high as well. And there's also SSMT like this, whichever you want to like consider. Don't even need SSMT, and you can get to R with the. I think my fill was a little bit worse, but you get the point here. We're gonna take this one off. And yeah, so I'm able to. Okay, this actually has TP, but I wanted to hit that low, so I'm able to go break even. I mean, at this point, I'm break even pretty much. Here, there's plenty of gaps. There's probably a 15-minute here. So this 15-minute, we should not get a retest of this B while leaving like these equals. So there is, it has that, right? And here, unfortunately, there's not really another trade you could take. There's this, I guess. Nah, this will be too small. Second, I don't trust this. So yeah, that puts me down 1 hour for the week, where I could have definitely done better this week. But this trade is totally valid, at least. And yeah, then I did take this. This is very clean. Again, you don't even need SSMT, but yeah. So that's gonna be it for this session. We'll go over the stats. And yeah, pretty crazy week. Plenty of opportunities, man. This logic is truly too good to be free. I'll be completely honest with you. Okay, so that's gonna be it.